The ARCa Bulls trading team is meeting these targets with high accuracy, and we are just beginning. CSSE hit our targets with grace, and there appears to be further continuation on that upside. We also have another interesting runner that I can't help but to cover since it has such a big community, so let's pop open that hood for the potentials. Welcome back to the channel on this Hump Day Wednesday. This is ARCa, so let's dive into the microburst. Let's kill them, team. What is up, you guys, and welcome back to the channel. Please do me a favor and hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Do everything necessary here so we can get this thing thriving, right? Let's go ahead and pop open to the first chart here and take a look at CSSE. If you were able to follow this play from yesterday's analysis here, we spoke about this bottom side here of 2108 to 1954 as a zone for potential entry, and we were also looking at this. You know what, I gotta say, I'm pretty surprised it did actually meet these massive targets, team. So we were looking at a resistance level of 35.34 to 40.17 here. So if you were able to cap it, let's just say it like this: if you were able to capitalize on this play, you gained entry right at this 2109. And you took profit right at this top end here. You would have marked off a 90 spot, 59% move in this ticker alone here. And we are looking at, let's just go ahead and take a look at that opening of the market, right? This would be it right here. So you would be looking at a 90% gain over the span of about 1 hour. Huge moves coming out of CSSE, and it appears to not be done. So let's go ahead and oh man, yeah, I don't think it's done. Yeah, let's take a look at the potentials here. So let's pop open the daily chart here and see how that ended, right? So yeah, we have a bottom end here of about oh man, guys, I wrote this target here because I spoke to the team, and it looks like we may be able to realize a 56.21 to 53.54. And now the new entry criteria could be set right here at 35.34 to 40.17. That is also a potential. So let's see, how can we actually make sure that this thing is pulling back? First of all, let's pull up the 15-minute time frame and see volatility versus momentum, right? You can see here that volatility versus momentum is already kind of oversold again, and we're making a little bit of a pump to the upside. Let me see the 5-minute even still. Oh wow, 5-minute is now repumping to that upside. 10-minute time frame appears to be it appears to be feeding off of that 5-minute just a little bit. Again, some of that cascading effect, right? So a 15-minute time frame appears to be very similar to that 10-minute, and the 30-minute time frame, of course, is still showing that downside. So if we do get that downside, I'm going to have to go ahead and just ignore the daily time frame because that pullback was in here. Post market, we're under the pullback. And so we're gonna determine here where this thing could pull back to. So I'm gonna look at the RSI here. What I want to do is get, from one of these time frames, I want to gain where the RSI signal, which is the cyan line, I want to know where it's above the SMA 14 pink or fuchsia line, right? I want to know where that is, or when that is actually, that it's above that moving average. So let's look at the 4-hour time frame. There we go. There it is. Okay, now the reason why I'm particular about this time frame here, team, is because of this. Always notice your position of the RSI, right? So go ahead and see this. The fuchsia pink line, that's actually just below this 60%. This is your bullish control zone, your bull strength percentile. This is your bull weakness, bear weakness, and bear strength. Okay, now between every single RSI junction, right, 2% up, 2% down, those are gravitational areas. Think of them as magnetics, right? So you would actually reach this zone here. The opposing side's gravitation pulls it into that zone. We use the SMA 14 as support and the opposing side's gravitation as support as well. So we would be looking at two forms of support. The 4-hour and maybe the 6-hour shows it. Okay, the 6-hour feels like it's a little too low, but just in case that 4-hour fails right here, we have the 6-hour to pick that up. Guys, that's my little boy right next to me. So if he says hello, just don't mind him. He's making sure that we're looking at the charts correctly. All right, so he's my 4-year-old. All right, you guys. So let's go ahead and continue on the analysis here and see what's up. So yeah, that's what I'm saying here about that 4-hour time frame. Very particular and very, very interesting that it is within this area here that usually tends to serve as a pretty nice area of support. Okay, so you can see here that the 4-hour time frame is still indicating a downside as well. So if it is the 4-hour time frame that we're observing for an immediate short-term pull to the downside, well, we have to start observing the areas that are most that have a higher probability of a reversal or pullback. So to me, if I really feel like it could be the 4 hours low, right at that wick low. It's confluent to the closing of this candle here, right up here, and I will say to the opening of this one here, right about there. So I think that would be the space for the pullback here. I think that we would potentially reach. Yeah, I think this is the space right here, 25.29 to about 28, and that would be right around where we would experience this pullback and then a potential bounce. Just in case there is a further pullback, of course, we have to observe this very bottom side of the same entry criteria that we experience here at 1954 to 2108. But if we bring the chart into a slightly more granular level, the hourly time frame could display to us a secondary zone. Okay, so right about here, that would be the closing basis of this candle and the opening basis of this candle. We have confluence there, and then you have confluence right here with the opening and closing basis of this candle here, of these two, right? So let's go ahead and make sure that we can mark off that area, right? It is an area of interest, so we have to make sure that we have it, that we have it at least jotted down, okay? So we have 3 potential zones. It feels like 2 of which are going to be of higher probability here. So these 2 right here. Remember the targets. You know what? We could even do this real quick. Let's go ahead and just kind of plot them out here so that everyone can be on the same page. I will tell you, please do not use this as any type of financial advice, right? Because these tickers are very much high risk here. And it's often that short sellers are looking at these tickers to bring them down below the $1 point. Okay? So as soon as this thing reaches $1, if it really does do that, then this would be immediately shorted back down to the under $1 level. Okay. Now I'm gonna just put this. Here just in case you guys are trying to see the further targets to the downside, right? Just like this here. Just a moment. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it in right like that here, just so that everyone has the targets, right? So now, of course, if we dive down. If we dive down into these areas here, actually, if we dive down into this one and this one in particular, then there could be a bit of a struggle getting above these targets. Not even to mention this top side of the 50 cents that we had that we reached today. Okay, so I will say that if we pull back slightly, like this area here, 25.29 to 27.98, especially 27.98. then the probabilities of us superseding that 50 cents become a little more, the probabilities become a little more apparent. And then we would potentially look at that 53.54 to 56.21. Okay, so yeah, there is a shot here at a potential continuation. So let's just make sure that we can get over these targets of the 50 cents, and we could definitely absolutely contemplate that potential top side of the 50, what was it again? 53.54 to 56.21. So heads up on this. Let's just give it a quick little whirl here on the 4-hour time frame, see what we have. 6-hour time frame, volatility versus momentum, slightly downside. Okay, so the 8-hour time frame, yeah, we may even experience an entire days of red, but I don't know that it's going to be an entire days of red because of the 8-hour time frame are still showing upside with expansion in volatility. So that means that we may be able to experience some consolidation with some downside back into supports until about, I would say, maybe power hour. It could be that we rip into power hour, or maybe even after NYSE lunch, around there. Okay, so just a heads up on this play. It feels like it does have some more upside continuation here, and the 12-hour time frame is still showing very, very, very bullish here. It is in the gravitational zone of the bull strength percentile here, still expanding, And the daily time frame is now getting a massive signal here, right? So expansion here, we're getting upside on the stochastic momentum, and even the buy daily is now starting to expand from critical with an upside pivot on stochastics. Guys, this feels like it's going to continue for a few days here. So just know that, again, I'm going to say it just like I did yesterday, for the play that we got here. It feels like it looks, on paper here, it appears as though it's continuing to the upside. But remember, it's still just a 42-cent asset. So that means that at any moment, someone could dump out or someone could whatever, and then it'll be over from there. Okay, so please be very careful when trading this asset. Okay, so now the next one that I wanted to talk about, very, very interesting ticker, and one that definitely has a lot of sentiment behind it, right? So let's go ahead and now take a look at ticker symbol MULN. So MULN Automotive. My goodness. All right, so this ticker here, team, moved up today and closed at about 38.10% in the traditional hours, and it closed very similarly to that daily close on the 12-hour too. So we have a 380 and 377 here. 377 traditional close, and the post market ended up being this 380. Okay, so let's pull up the obvious things. Let's see what this has, right? Okay, so 5-minute time frame pulling back to the SMA 100. That's pretty. It's okay, and I will say that it has a bit. Immediate short-term time frame could be a little. I want to say. I know that some people are going to try to draw this in a certain manner, but it's just it has. I see it. You guys are. I see that there's some people here trying to draw the triangle on this, but I have to say that I don't think it's a triangle. I do think that it's maybe it's an ascending channel, right? So something like this here feels like it could be something like this, to be honest, right? So this is naturally a bearish formation. So if it does have bearish properties, then where could it go, right? So I think that this is the way to do it. So make sure to measure here the top end of that channel and bring it down, bring that trend line all the way down to the bottom side of the channel, and then kind of apply it at the breakout point. We're going to assume here that we would break out at around this, at around here, maybe. Oh, but does it even trade at that time? Let's just say that. I guess let's just say that it would do it at about one of the earlier times, right? Like 4 a.m. Let's just say that it would do it there. All right. So the bottom side target here, it's actually very confluent to the bottom side of this wave here at around 366. Okay. So if that's the case there, then we would have to validate this potential downside. In other words, here, you know what? I'm going to adjust this target just a little bit. Let's just say that it would break down here, because it would just start breaking down at this channel here relative to whatever time it opens. But if it is the case, team, then some of our targets here would be at about it. But this is a 5-minute. Let's see. Let's really be careful about this. That's too close. Let's do it at least an hour in. Okay, yeah, I would say about 360. So let's just kind of keep that range there into consideration, right? That 366 to about 360 here. We can leave it like that just in case there is a zone for us to look at. Now, if this fails this channel here, the likelihood of us coming down to this wave is very great. In order for us to validate resistances. That means that price action may do this, right? We start declining here. We come down to that bottom level of this range here, right? Just like this. We bounce up, validate the resistance here, and then we would continue to the downside and realize the targets here before we can come back, potentially validate this area here as resistance, just like that there, and then we would continue on to that downside. Okay? So now the downside here appears to be limited for now, and I will say this. I think it's because of the 5-minute time frame EMA 200. So that EMA 200 may actually get us to, bounce somewhere around here. And same thing with the SMA 200 too. It feels like we would use that SMA 200 for a potential bounce. Okay, so if that's the case, let's validate that downside now. All right, so let's go to the hourly time frame. It's still showing that there is a little bit of upside to go, but I will say that if it does move to the upside because of the stochastic momentum, we now have resistance from the SMA 14 on the RSI and the gravitational point of the overbought percentile. So two areas of resistance, highly likely going to resist it and come back down. Okay, so that's a potential there now. All right, so that's that's showing us that. Let's see the bi-hourly time frame. It's consolidating. 3-hour time frame feels like it still has a nice upside. The 4-hour is still feeling a little. Let me see how. Still suggesting a little bit of an upside, but it is kind of curving, right? So, and it's in respect to that downside that we're experiencing here. So, all right, 6-hour time frame and the 8-hour time frame, absolutely where this is. So, again, just like CSSE, we may be experiencing maybe an entire day of consolidation and or downside here, but it is with reason. I feel like we may be able to get this the distribution here into reaccumulation, possibly again right into the end of the NYSE lunch or power hour tomorrow, not to mention the following day early. Okay, so now the upside targets on this, I will say that it's a bit powerful the way that this is expanding, and it shows that there could be continuation. If you guys are unaware over what it was, then go ahead and take a look at this here. Why Teledyne? Let's see. Why are we showing that? We saw, here we go. And this was today here. MULN Automotive Inc. Shares are trading higher on Wednesday. The company announced the first phase of completion of the battery line integration. Finally, right, some movement here. So that's it is running on a catalyst. I'm not sure that it's I'm not sure that if we're evaluating this accurately though, right? But with a nice pullback here and with continuation of a few days, I guess we can put ourselves into this let's see. I would say into this zone. They would just be slightly above that, maybe. I would say right about here. Yeah, around this area here. So 426 to 466-ish could be a zone to observe. And now if we do take into consideration that SMA 50 on a daily, let's see. Physical targets would be about here. Yeah. So yeah, if we take into consideration that SMA 50, maybe we can see this top end. But you got to be careful with this one, team. This one, I believe, had high short interest, lots of shorts in this thing too. Who knows, right? We just got to be super careful with this one. So upside target here would be 512 to 526. The higher probability targets would be 426 to 466, and even those would be very dangerous to play. Okay, so now you know the pullback targets, and now you know the upside targets for MULN. Please remember, join the ARCa Bulls trading team. We are trading every single day in the markets, and today was just another great day. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure to remember to add that link right up here for you to join. Okay, so make sure to hit that when it does come up. And one more thing, I am also extending my beginners program for the master students. Okay, I'm going to consolidate that from an 18-week program to a 4 to 5 week program, and that's going to segue into the strategies mentorship. Guys, you have a great deal of knowledge to be shared here. Okay, guys. So please make sure to hit me at this email here in case you are interested in joining the ARCa Bulls trading team, or actually the ArcMastersCourse, right? So it's going to be ArcMastersCourse at gmail.com, and I'll get you the syllabus, the schedule, and everything. Okay, team. So thank you so much for listening in today, and we'll talk very soon. Please take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. Never, 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 never. I need you to do your own due diligence, and everything will be cool. But with that said, team, I wish you well, a very, very good rest of your night and or day, and I will catch you at the Bell Mañana. Adios, team. Oh, yeah.